Hi and welcome. And what the hell? Once again, from no, don't click, don't
Okay.
stop. I'll just say
Okay.
again.
Okay.
What do I always say? Hi and welcome
Yes.
to the Thinking Out Loud podcast. All right, great. Hi and welcome to the Thinking Out Loud podcast. My name is Jędrek.
My name's Masha.
And we are two English teachers who happen to have an internet connection still, and they like to talk with each other.
Sounds pathetic, They like to talk with each other.
Well, yeah,
I like talking
because,
to my students as well.
Yeah,
to know about you, but
I'll tell you what, I like talking to you. And these conversations that we are recording, the fact that we are recording them and that we turned it into a podcast is just, it's just something, these conversations were good. And I know whose idea was that. Was it my idea?
Of course.
To do a podcast or whatever. But, they were good conversations. I thought, hey, why don't we record them and publish them online so that our students can listen to it and whatever, I find it really rare to have such kind of conversations, online. I told you, I think, in one of our WhatsApp exchanges that I was looking for a similar show in Spanish because I wanted to I want to improve my Spanish, and I listen to a podcast in Spanish every morning. So I have some kind of 20 minutes of Spanish each day. I mean, my ears have it. I'm not yet speaking it, but at least, but this is more like news, or it's rather one-sided. You know what I mean? There are some conversations, but they aren't really extended, and it's like, few words, hi, there's a journalist who comes with a subject, and the host is just asking, some few things, and then there is like a report. So this is like one person talking, like a monologue, mostly.
Okay.
So by nature, I think such monologues are prepared beforehand, I guess. It's not like person improvising, just talking, but they have a text, perhaps they are reading even. And this is like a very solid craft, and because of that, it's not natural. Because
why don't you listen to something you're interested in? I don't know, financial news or whatever. I'm sure there are tons of podcasts out there in Spanish.
I mean, I wanted first to say, how do I find it? But let's imagine I can even find it, but usually podcasts are either well prepared, or they are more like presentations rather than interactions. You know what I mean? They're, unless I'm wrong, because it's quite
I listened to
common,
a podcast where it's definitely, I mean, of course the host prepared the questions in advance, but it's pretty natural conversations, people just answering these questions. They're not exploring concepts, but
okay, fine. So I guess the reason why I'm not listening to that is because I struggle to find the right podcast. Imagine you're interested, but what am I interested in? I mean, lots of things, but none in particular. So if I type, what do I type as a keyword?
Conversations in Spanish.
If you type that,
you type that?
There's a lot of podcasts for students, but I don't like it. It's like, either conversations are in a slow motion, but they are, slow. The language is impoverished. It's kind of, it's supposed to be for students. It's not what I want. What I want is relatively spontaneous conversation with natural language, or language that, let's say, I wonder if our language is natural, because it is kind of, maybe it's poorer than, let's say, better speakers' language. I'm not claiming to be like, a proficient speaker. I think many times I have some thoughts in Polish in my head. So I try to translate them. You know what I mean? It's perhaps, I'm that, but that's why I guess we are maybe more understandable. Maybe. But anyway, what I wanted to say is that these are semi private conversations that we are having here, except they are being recorded. But I don't feel like, we have, well, first, we don't have like a mass audience, but but I don't feel like, being talking to millions. You know what I'm talking about? I feel like talking
because
to you.
You're not. Okay. Yeah.
Because I'm not. Yeah, because I'm not. But I don't feel even that that someone is eavesdropping or something. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would say that our conversations, except maybe for the first episode or first few, where we were kind of edgy, but right now it's pretty much like private conversations, just like we connect on Skype and we talk. But thanks, guys, for being out there.
I wonder why these people are even listening to this.
Yeah, first, because we are funny. That's the number one, reason. And second, it's your voice that is, hypnotizing.
That's it. Yes. That's it.
Right. And the third reason is, of course, they learn a lot from us. Right. But they do, they don't know it, but they do. I wanted to ask you one technical question about the classes that we run. Do you think it's okay that there's no continuity between one meeting and the next one? I mean, fine, there is you and your students, me and my students, but there is no syllabus. There is no sort of, it reminds me of a certain TV series from the 80s. You remember Columbo?
Mm-hmm.
There was just...
You could have skipped, yeah. No, it's great. Well, there's no syllabus in life,
Yeah, but do you think it's okay? I mean, the fact that, look, there was another great series. I don't know if you know The Persuaders with Tony Curtis and Roger Moore. That was a great. But again, you didn't have to watch each and every episode, in any kind of sequence. You could just skip, watch at random, and they are always good. It's like Columbo, and I guess our classes are like Columbo because you know what I mean. There's no continuation. I mean, the same with the podcast. I mean, you don't have to listen to each and every episode to sort of, it's not a story. There's no syllabus. And so my question, finally, is it okay from the pedagogical perspective? Do you think it's okay that the classes are kind of separate halls?
Well, there's some people really like this. Well, I think we already discussed this. They like this feeling that they have a program. It's a course designed by somebody smart,
leading somewhere,
which will include I don't know, let's say 3,000 most commonly used words in the language. But then again, they learn these clothes, food. They might never. Well, I don't know what's
family members.
What's
don't forget
the
about
use of it? It's a pain
my
in the neck.
And
these family trees. Oh my God, they're horrible. But so where? Okay, let's say I've learned 25 food items, clothes, family members. I don't know if, and then what am I gonna do with it? Who I will speak to whom about what? But my diet.
And what do you think about a grammar syllabus, like present simple, present continuous, past simple, and so on?
You mean that we don't teach them explicitly, especially in the
sequence
they are required?
Yeah. Is there any required sequence?
No, it's
Second,
how well there are people who claim that they know because they've done multiple studies, whatever, that there is a sequence how grammar is acquired, that we don't actually people acquire this s and ed actually very, very late. I mean, not acquire, but it becomes automatic because
yeah.
it doesn't really, there are other tools how you can indicate that you're talking about the past, so it doesn't break down communication, so people just don't pay attention to it. So we don't actually teach. We teach you at the moment of need, when people need this, how they need to know how to
Yeah, just
express what
when
they
you
think,
approach, yeah.
Mhm.
You think it's okay?
Well, what if it's not? I mean, are you gonna change the way you teach or what?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I would expect you to say, of course it's okay. This is scientifically proven. Blah blah blah. No,
Well, we
I
believe
think
that it's okay. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I see no reason in kind of mm, attaching classes like you have to participate in my class number 101 and then you can go to 102 because the material that you sort of absorbed in 101 is enough to take part in 102. There's nothing like that in language. I think of course there are certain structures, I know, conditionals and whatever, but honestly, is there any sequence of when to learn what? I don't know. I prefer, honestly, like you said, if there's a need, you deal with it. There's no need.
Yeah,
You
and we
don't.
deal with it even if it's generally assumed to be, for example, too difficult for this level. Let's say if
Yeah.
okay, the students at elementary level, what are they expected to talk about? But what if the person really wants to say, he describes a situation and tells you that I should have done this and this and that. He doesn't know
Yeah.
how to say it. It's you just introduce it as a lexical item, should have.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
what
Should
is
have. You
so
should have told me.
difficult? What is so difficult
Yeah.
about it?
Exactly. Fine.
So
So,
don't
guys,
worry, just keep doing what you're doing.
yeah, just keep listening to this podcast and,
I
don't
was
worry.
talking to you, actually. You
All
don't
right.
worry.
Right. And I was talking to our listeners. I
Okay.
say, guys, don't worry, trust us. Just
No,
trust us, and trust your brains, because when you listen to us speaking, your brain is actually deciphering this language, and absorbing it.
come on.
And
Next thing you will say is just you can go to sleep and just play our podcast, and just sleep. There's
no,
a
I'm
theory
not.
that
I know there is. It's called Sita, right? No,
I don't know how it's called. I just
there was
know
a
that.
system like that. Yeah. You had some special glasses like relax, sit back, and the language will enter into your
There's the
head
back
like
door
through the back door. Yes.
or whatever that is.
Yeah. Fine. No, I mean, language is hard work, of course, but why shouldn't that be fun at the same time? It can be.
Yeah.
I'd rather my classes were fun than effective.
Man,
I know you have a different point of view. I mean, you are more like, there better be some, some values, some linguistic, let's say, content, and I'm rather let there be fun, and if there's fun, education will come. But my perception of fun is also specific. I could talk about it, but
Yeah.
I don't like fooling around. But as long as we have fun, some kind of intellectual fun, let's call it, just like our questions and the conversations that follow. Great, thanks a lot. Thanks to our listeners. We are still fighting for each Maciek, each Grzesiek, and each Sasha, you know, here. It's not
Yes.
like we are, you know, mass producers. You
Yeah.
are guys a handful. So sorry, you're not a handful, but there's a handful of you. And yeah, and that's why, you know, you're recording this. This is like a semi-private conversation, but you have access to it, so you can also follow our lines of thinking. The thinking that is quite advanced, Masha, isn't it?
Oh yeah, of course. As
Yeah, like
always, you're
yeah, two brains. You know what?
the
Before,
you're our marketing director, you know?
yeah. You want?
Mhm.
I had a conversation with one of my students. I say hi to Remik right now, and you know, I realized that I read quite a lot, and that means not only books but also news. You know, I'm subscribing Bloomberg, so I'm getting like 2 newsletters per day. Plus, I visit their
Wow.
website, I read stuff, and I was like recently, you know, I had this moment of reflection. Am I honestly a better investor reading all that Bloomberg, whatever, you know, newsletters and everything? Would I actually be? I mean, would my portfolio actually perform worse without it? I doubt it. You know, it would probably be the same. And then Remik asked me, so why do you order all these books? Why do you read books? I mean,
Mhm.
are you a better person because of that? I mean, you know, I could easily, because you know, I could easily stop reading books and I'd probably be the same person as I don't know. What do you think?
There's no way
You
of knowing, you know.
I mean, yeah, of course, we would have to have like ourselves without all these books, which we honestly don't remember. I mean, I read books, but
Yeah,
ask
but you
me,
don't read books to become a better person. I hope you read books because you like it.
okay, but does it? I mean, okay, fine, yeah, I like it, of course I do, but how much of it stays inside of me and perhaps transforms me? That's the question. Because you know, am I actually a different person or not? I mean, you know, if I were to, let's say, introduce some drastic savings, you know, in my budget, so I say stop buying books,
Mhm.
stop subscribing to whatever, you know,
Mhm.
would I actually be like stupider?
No, you can.
What is?
Don't worry, you cannot become stupider. You just can't. You just won't get cleverer, you know, than you are. Don't worry, you're not gonna lose it. What you have.
Yeah, all right. No, but you know, it's
Um,
funny, you know, because I guess somewhere there there is that promise. I'm talking right now about services like Bloomberg, Financial Times, and so on. That if you subscribe to, you know, to the service, now you will be the first to know, the first blah blah. This is
mhm.
bullshit, you know. I mean, honestly, it's just. I mean, it's fun
You'll
reading
find
it.
out one day later. No
Yeah,
problem.
but yeah, I mean, especially when it comes to stuff like investing, I mean, um there's no, unless you are really as somehow, I don't know, you have access to really secret information from inside the companies, or I don't know, or you just, I don't know, it's so anyway, reading stuff is kind of, but but at the end of the day, you know what, I get language from it for
Mhm.
sure. I mean, you know, because this is all in English, and I'm reading books mostly in English,
Mhm.
sometimes in Polish, but mostly in English. So I guess at least, you know, when everything evaporates from my head, is at
English
least, you
stays.
know, yeah, English stays, or you know, some, I don't know. Right, fine. Um, what do you think about going to the thinking out loud proper?
I think it's time.
I think it's time. Yes.
Round one.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
All right, great. Fine. So that is round one, you know, and that's for the encouragement. The first question, it's kind of before round one. Sorry about that. But are you rather in a mood for like philosophy or more like, grinding the usual concepts?
Whatever. Really.
So you're in the mood for philosophy. Yeah. Right. Let's play it, once again.
Round one.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, that's a guy playing with his console. My question to you is, and that's the offshoot of our recent conversation about whether nature is beautiful or not. And I had a great week with that question, honestly, asking people. And sorry, I'm making this long, but I wish I had all these brains, when I answer, because does it happen to you sometimes that when you answer my question, you later on, like when we finish, you feel like, I should have answered differently or something like that?
Yeah, sure.
Why, it's typical in my case. And then, when I ask my students, and they have such fantastic idea right away, like, right after, the question is asked,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
they come up with a brilliant answer. I'm like, my jaw is dropping, and it's like, how do you know it? I mean,
Yeah.
And they come up with great examples. So I had a great week asking people whether nature is beautiful. And one of the things that emerged during these conversations was this: what's the difference between heartless and soulless?
Heartless.
Yes, heartless and soulless.
He has no heart. He has no soul.
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea.
Thank you.
Heartless and soulless.
There was a song by Modern Talking, "You're my heart, you're my soul." But
yeah, when I didn't know English, I used to think, "You're my whole, you're my soul."
You're my soul. It's like nice. But no, let's go like
heart. He has no heart. It means he is what? Has no heart.
Merciless.
Has no heart. Cold. Indifferent.
Yes. Indifferent. Great.
No sympathy. No empathy.
I'll tell you. Yeah. Perfect. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you a little context to it in relation to our previous question about whether nature is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Many people, honestly, were mentioning the fact that not everything in nature is beautiful. For example, killing, like, the lion killing the innocent antelope, it's not maybe beautiful. I mean, not when you watch it in slow motion on National Geographic, because now it's, the muscles are working. This is beautiful, right? The lion is chasing the antelope. But I'd say that what's not really beautiful there is that the lion is heartless. I mean, there's a cute little antelope, or someone even mentioned, killing a young elephant. Oh, come on. That is heartbreaking, killing a young elephant. But the
lion
lions
is also
don't care.
soulless.
Well, is it? Is nature soulless? I don't know. Of course, now we are touching some spiritual stuff here. But I think the lion is heartless. I mean, it has no empathy. It doesn't care. This is a small elephant. I want to eat. I'm going to kill it. And no matter how sweet this elephant is, or the antelope, or whoever, it's going to kill it. Which is kind of cold, right? Which means that
it was invented. All these definitions were invented by humans. So for lions, they don't exist. He doesn't know what cute is. It's just food. And this is how it was designed. Yeah.
But okay, but doesn't that kind of kill beauty in nature? I mean, nature is merciless.
Nature is merciless, yes. If you don't have firewood, you would freeze to death in the winter. Doesn't matter how cute you are, or if you're a Ukrainian fighting for your whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, but you know, if talking about soul is difficult because atheists will tell you that we don't have such thing.
Right, because it's a matter of belief, right? Because it's kind of it's impossible to prove it scientifically.
Yes, and heart, whether you have the heart. Oh,
and I'm not talking, of course, about the organ. I mean,
no, sometimes it's used. I didn't have the heart to tell you, for example, and it means
the courage. Yeah.
Yeah. So not only. So yeah, well, usually we associate heart with feelings, you know. Heart. He doesn't have the heart. He doesn't feel anything. He's a machine. That's what we.
And the soul. Look, we can talk about places or let's say architecture that is soulless.
Yeah, and they say it has
like you know a hotel. I don't know where I don't know at a seaside, in any seaside, you know, because they build sometimes these soulless hotels. You don't care. I mean, doesn't matter if this is Tunisia, Spain, or whatever, Montenegro.
Yeah, but we use this word to objects when we say the place has a soul. We try to kind of animate it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
we say that
like
the place has personality. That's what we say.
Yeah. I mean, and by saying that, we mean that it's unique. It's different than, because, you know, if you check into a soulless hotel, it means that, you know, that could be anywhere on the planet. Yeah. Very often airports are soulless. I mean, you know, they are just, you know, very aesthetic. But you don't know if you're in Amsterdam or you're in Brussels or wherever, you know.
You know, it's interesting because in our language, in my language, we have two words, бездушный. You don't have a soul.
Soulless.
Бессердечный.
Serdeczny in Polish.
Бессердечный, heartless.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think we use them, sorry to say that, but interchangeably. When we say бездушный, you mean you're not even a human, nothing human. Everything human is kind of alien to you.
Yeah, you're right. Бездушный, it's you're right. You're right.
But then the dictionary says that you are dead. You're inanimated.
What do you mean you're dead? I mean,
well, if you don't have a soul, you are dead, you know.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, fine. I mean, there was a movie, 21 grams, that apparently your soul weighs 21 grams because they were weighing people right
just
before
the moment,
death and right after, and there was like 21 gram difference.
But then the next definition is soulless. It means not capable of feeling and heartless. So
okay, so my question is kind of, I mean, these two are, however, they stem they stem from two different words. I mean, soul and heart. But at the same time, it looks like the way we use
soul is what makes you human. A heart is what makes you a good human.
Oh, I like that.
I was clever, wasn't it?
Wow, that was really you.
Okay, finally,
to our promise.
3. Yes, finally, season 3, you know. I'm sure that.
Okay, so the soul makes you a human, which means that animals have no souls. Kind of.
Probably, yeah.
Oh my God, it's so sad. This young elephant has no soul.
Jesus.
All right. Well, like that. So if I say you're heartless, it means that you're human, but you're not a good human.
Yeah, you're not, because what is. No, you know, I mean, I think if you have a soul, okay, I want to take back what I said, this clever thing. Sorry, we don't have any clever conclusions. Okay, so if you have, maybe animals have souls. So I think any animated thing has a soul. Because you can take Pinocchio. This is what the man actually did. You know, somehow this wooden doll got a soul. It's not a human, but it has a soul.
Yeah, you're right. And that's why it's, wow, but it was actually, didn't this toy or whatever Pinocchio was before, didn't this actually, didn't he become a boy? Or didn't it
Pinocchio is in our
because
culture.
I remember he was going to school and, you know. And,
yeah, but he was wooden.
He was wooden, but in fact, he was acting and doing all the things like a living boy.
Okay, what about this guy in Yellow Brick, Wizard of the Oz? It's not okay. I'm still using, in Soviet Union, many writers, they just stole these original books and turned them into something very, very similar, but we knew these versions, Buratino. I don't know if you know. Do you know Buratino?
No.
It's actually plagiarism, it's a wooden, but there's this Wizard of Oz.
Of Oz,
but in our culture, it was Волшебник изумрудного города. It's a lot of stories about this girl, and she found a scarecrow,
but wait, isn't that the original?
Yeah, it's also in the original. Yeah, so this guy, Metal, whoever was it, Metal.
Yeah, I know. It was.
He wanted a heart.
Yes.
So he's made of metal. He is moving, talking. So obviously he has something like a soul. But what makes a dead thing alive? Soul. Well, if we, for the sake of this discussion, assume that soul, there is such thing as a soul.
But what about machines that are moving? But let's say Roomba, Hoover,
Okay, let's say they're capable of thinking. How about that?
No, I mean, what? You mean this Hoover?
No. Hoover cannot think.
Oh yeah, okay. So you think that the creatures or the entities
the animals
that have
can't
soul,
think. Okay.
They can. Of course.
Okay, thank God. Okay.
Right. Not sure about frogs, but yeah, I mean they
Not
they
sure
have
about
some.
frogs.
I mean, are they thinkers better than us? No, but yeah, they are definitely capable.
They make decisions.
Yeah, they make decisions.
They make
They can either they may jump left, jump right,
or forward, or sideways,
or forward, or backward.
Yeah, but okay, so that's what. But this guy, he wanted a heart, and for him it meant that he thought that he was incapable of feeling.
Right.
Which in the end was not true. He was the most feeling guy in their little group, let's say.
Which kind of proves that no, but it's important even what his intentions were. He was searching for a heart because he thought that this will make him more human, or
a better human.
A better human, yeah.
Yeah. He wanted to get married, I think, with this. Okay, don't remember exactly, but
well, which leads me back to this lion and the antelope. And I was right saying that the lion is heartless, but it's not soulless, because it actually has a soul.
Yeah, if there is such thing as a soul. Yeah, it's
not a good lion. No, I'm kidding, but I mean, lion's a lion. I mean, it has to kill, it has to eat, but it doesn't have this kind of reflection. It's only humans that could reflect. Hey, I don't have to kill this animal. I can eat plants, or something like this. All right.
Animals don't feel. Well, but what about mothers, you know?
What about them?
I think a lioness is capable of feeling something for her cubs, no?
Yeah, there's an extreme. I don't know if you know. There's always a nice way out from the world of animals because you say it's instinct, you know. So they are not genuinely feeling it; they are
Yeah.
somehow ordered to feel it,
Mhm.
you know. And once the hormones or something recede, they are back to normal. They don't even care, you know, what's happening to my son. Is he happy in his life or not?
Yeah, and there will always be people who will find an example like, let's say, a human mother. She has 5 children. One is in danger, and she has to make this choice.
Oh,
Are you
were
back?
frozen.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back. All right.
So the example was like this one. Let's say we have a human mother and I don't know, any kind of animal, and they have 5 children.
Mhm.
And one child is in danger, and to save him, you're risking your life and maybe others, or let's say your life. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
So a human mother will risk her life,
Risk it, yeah.
which is
yeah.
absolutely stupid thing because others will not survive without her.
Mhm.
But they say that an animal mother will never do this. That's what they say.
Wow,
I've
that's
never.
interesting. Yeah, which kind of shows us that maybe yeah, the
It's an
animals are
instinct.
heartless.
Yeah.
Yes. So, what did Dita Bolen and what was the other guy?
Don't remember.
Dita Bolen and
Andreas.
Andreas. My goodness, I had it at the tip of my tongue. Dita Bolen and Andreas, whatever, Steiner.
No.
All right, doesn't matter. We know it. It's
Thomas
Andreas.
Anderson.
Thomas Anders. Oh, I didn't
Thomas
know
Anders.
that. Thomas Anders, of course.
Anders. Yeah.
Good. So
You
what
were
did
a
they mean
fan?
when they
Yeah,
said
you were a
"You're my
fan?
heart, you're my soul"? I was their huge fan. I'm still listening on my Spotify from time to time. Look at it's good, guys. You can't see her eyes because the look you gave me was like, what the who am I talking to?
Yeah.
Kind of kidding, but
You're my heart.
but
You're my soul.
stop before it becomes an what's the name? A brain worm or an earworm? I guess.
Earworm.
The thing. Yeah, an earworm that you can't get
Crawls
rid of
into
that.
your ear
Yeah.
and eats up
You're
your
my
brain.
heart. Great, I'm
You're
already
my
singing that.
soul.
But stop it. Quit
Okay.
it. What did they mean when they were singing that? You're my heart, you're my soul. So
Well, after
listen,
all that's said and done, it's a terrible thing. It means that he puts everything in her. Without
oh
her,
my
she's
God.
not even a.
Look, by the way, when he says you're my soul, it means you make me alive and I'm animated because of you, right? Because I walk
I
and
know.
talk because of you,
Pathetic.
because you're my soul, because you're my
Pathetic.
soul. So you're the reason why
Yeah.
I live. And then you're my heart, which means that you make me a better person. I'm a better person because of you. Look, this is beautiful. You're my heart,
Finally.
you're my soul. Yeah.
Look, I don't
All
even
right.
want to ask my question. Let's just finish here.
Let's clap some hands for B. Right. Time for the fantastic
Round
Okay.
2.
Oh, come on. So I'm just playing this Russian roulette.
Great.
Just choosing. Okay, what is it? It's the. Okay, what's the difference between stress and fear?
Wow, I love this question,
Well, I hope
I
you
love
have
it.
something to say.
I love
Smart. Finally, the
I wish
smart
I
episode.
had I wish I wish I had the brains of my students here in jars, so that I could,
Mhm.
pick them in time of need, because
Borrow their brain.
yeah, yeah. But it's a great question, and I think it's a very old question when it comes to the depth of my database.
Mhm.
That's why I was asking it a good few times, let's say, and I heard brilliant answers here, but somehow I'm again left alone. It's just like the reading of the books, you read
Yeah.
a lot of it, and then at the end of the day you can't remember anything. You're the same person, the same, well, stupid as you were before.
So it's a waste of time.
And it's kind of a waste of time. So I wonder, I was thinking that maybe these conversations that I'm having with my students, that are really brilliant, maybe they'll make me smarter. But now I feel like I'm left again alone to my own devices, which aren't, impressive. But stress and fear, very similar feelings. And somehow I guess it's very hard to separate because they go together very often. Think of this. You're watching a horror movie, and what do you feel? Definitely fear. But I guess there is some stress too, because you know that the girl on the screen is going to get killed very soon, and it's only a matter of time, right? So there's stress. You're
I don't know. I
afraid
don't
of,
feel stressed when I watch horror. Well, I don't watch horror, but I watched a couple in my life.
but there is stress if you know that something's bad going to happen, but you just don't know when. But you feel it. Look, you're walking down a dark alley, you know, and you know that, okay, it's not like something's going to happen because it's not a given, but let's say that you're afraid of it, and that's what builds stress. Why are you stressed out before an exam?
Because I'm
Because you know
afraid.
that's no
Yeah, I'm afraid of losing, of failing. Sorry.
but can we separate stress and fear? I mean, they always go together.
Mhm.
I mean,
But you can be
there,
stressed without a fear, I think.
you can be stressed. Give me an illustration for that. Wait a second. Stress without fear. Yeah, I mean, look, you're you played on the lottery. You've got your 6 numbers or whatever the number, and you're watching the whatever the drawing of whatever it is. You're watching live. When they draw the numbers.
Mhm.
So I guess it's kind of stressful, right? Because let's say that you hit the first 2 numbers, and then the third one is coming. Okay, you hit it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
it's
Well,
stress
it's just
because
because stress is not always bad,
no, it's not always bad,
but
but
fear
it's
is
this
always
kind
bad.
of, or is it anxiety? In fact, because you're kind of something good may happen or may not, but it may because you're on the path.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think it's stressful. It's the same with watching football games. I think it's
Oh,
stressful.
yeah. It's stressful, but
But
it's
can't
good.
say I'm
Okay, what
afraid.
about excitement? Then excitement and stress, are they the same?
Yeah, no, they're not the same. I'd say. I mean, excitement is a byproduct of. No, it's not maybe a byproduct, but nah. I'm thinking about this football game. There is excitement, sure, but there's also stress. Because I'm worried. No, this is anxiety. I'm worried about the result. I mean, no, I want my team to win. Like tomorrow, Poland plays against Mexico.
And you are stressed?
Yeah, but I know that our team has already said that they are going to boycott the games after the third match, because of the human rights violations and so on in Qatar. So they just play 3 games and they go home.
Oh, is it true? Are you pulling my leg?
We always play only 3 games and we go home. So we
Okay,
never,
it's a inside
but now this
joke.
year is different because we are going to boycott the World Cup. Enough of the suffering of the
Yeah.
innocent Bangladeshi, and
Mhm.
abusing of the women's rights, sexual minorities' rights, and everything. We are going to boycott this World Cup. Just 3 games is the maximum we can play.
Okay.
No
Cool.
decent team should actually stay longer. Right.
Okay, I was
Fine.
thinking about excitement because there is, for example, remember when you are a child and it's the, I don't know, 23rd or whatever, or when do you get your presents?
Yeah,
and
on the
you're
24th.
excited, you're not stressed because you know exactly that
Yes.
this is what's going to happen. But in football, in lottery, there's only a chance of this happening. It might not happen.
Yeah, great.
That's
that generates stress.
Yeah, uncertainty.
That generates stress because if you know that you are going to get a present, except the uncertainty is what
maybe
this is going to be.
Yeah, but not
But
today,
it's
not these days. These days, you're right.
Yeah, because children, you write a letter and
At
okay,
least,
but you're right.
Mhm.
You're right. You're right. If there is uncertainty
Mhm.
of an event happening or not, this produces stress. Like why are people actually no, I can't extend it over that. I mean, why are people stressed at work? Because there's time pressure. Time pressure also generates a lot of stress. Like, do it quickly. You have to do it. You have to finish before 4 p.m. because blah blah.
With work, it's a little bit. I think we're going again down this road of fear because you're afraid of getting fired if you don't deliver, and this is what generates stress, I think, at work.
What if you are a teacher in a public school? You will never get fired.
Oh, come on, of course.
No, but yeah, but but there's so many whatever clerks that they know they won't get fired anytime soon, but they are stressed out, especially in France.
Why are they
because
stressed out?
They earn too little. There's only 30 days of paid holidays. So I don't know, but the truth is that the French are generally stressed out nation. Stressed out nation, and that is, I mean,
Really?
yeah, I mean, they consume a lot of
Alcohol.
no alcohol, but
Foie gras.
medicaments like Prozac type of drugs. So that means that it tells you something if you look at the statistics, and everybody's consuming some sort of drugs for letting them relax.
So what are they stressed? What are they stressing about?
That there won't be sunshine.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm kidding. No, I think no. I mean, it's. I think it's complicated, but they haven't had the experience that we had. The nations from Central Eastern part of Europe. There was, so it's kind of there's a lot of anxiety if you live in
Anxiety.
in a welfare state. Anxiety,
Not stress.
yeah, right. Well, right, you're right. But somehow I think all of these feelings, they get mixed up.
Well, we've established that stress can be caused by fear, and stress can be also caused by uncertainty.
And by excitement.
Yes.
Somehow, to some extent.
So you see,
But
another
then,
clever discovery is just a cause-effect relation.
Yeah, but fear. What about is there anything like pure fear?
Without
If you're
stress?
just simply afraid? But you should be an expert now on that. I mean, I'm thinking, sorry for that, but I'm going back in my mind to the days when, when you were still in Kiev, hiding in the corridor, in the so-called shelter, I mean, living in a whichever floor is that, but it's kind of, I guess that was a lesson of
Well, then
pure fear. I know.
back then I can say there was some danger. I mean, I don't know what the odds were that it would
Mhm.
hit my building, but there was at least
Yeah,
some
but I
danger.
mean,
But listen to this. Now I live in, what did you say in Polish? Dogs bark at their asses.
yeah,
It's a
exactly.
place. So I
Psy
live in
dupami
this.
szczekają.
I live in this kind of place. I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere. And even we have this joke, even what do Russians call their weapon?
I say hi to
Accurate.
Ella right now because sorry, Masha, you just don't
Uh-huh.
lose your thought. But Ella said that she learned in the middle of nowhere on Quizlet, because we had it in our class,
Mhm.
and then she heard it in a TV show
Mhm.
somewhere, like in the middle of nowhere. So there you go, Ella. I know you're listening. So the third time, it's actually in your long memory. Thank you.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, mission accomplished. Right. So
But right now, for example, last week we had on Tuesday, this is the last, the most recent, what do I
Mhm.
say? I
Yeah,
hope it's the
most
last, but
recent.
it's not, of course, the
Yeah,
attack.
yeah, yeah.
And
The most recent.
I don't even, I told you, if I switch off my phone, switch off everything, I will not even know that
Mhm.
things are happening.
Mhm.
But every time it happens, I read the news. I'm not in any danger, I'm telling you. I mean, of course,
Mhm.
there is always like 0.0000001%.
Yeah, yeah.
But let's say I'm as safe as I could be,
Mhm.
even, comparing to these farmers in Poland. So
Oh,
what were
yeah,
the
yeah,
odds, but it happened.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I read the news, I see that they are bombing this and this and this and this and this in the city, and I'm under enormous stress. And I developed, stomach ache, a couple of days later, and my son asked me why, and I said, because I was, this is how my body works.
Yeah, that is
When
stress.
yes,
But that is stress, not fear.
stress. So I didn't have any
That's stress.
fear.
Mhm.
I mean, of course I was. Well, I mean, I wasn't scared
No,
for
because
my life.
you're that's great. That's a great point because there's no direct threat,
Yeah.
and that's why there's only stress. I mean, fear is when an angry dog is chasing you, or I know
Mhm.
this darkest fear that you're going to, I know a shark is whatever.
But if it was a therapy session, we would have established that. Of course, I was afraid that our power system will just collapse, and I will have to survive without electricity for a week. So this was somewhere at the bottom of.
Mhm.
So there was probably fear, but there was no danger. That's for sure. At least to me or my immediate family. So that's maybe an example of stress without fear. No.
I think it's very hard to separate these two in the time of that we are living through right now. I mean, in time
Mhm.
of war. I mean, because they're both and they go together. If one is off for a moment, let's say you're in a bunker, impossible to penetrate by an atomic bomb. But the stress remains. I mean, it's the same with people who
Uncertainty. You
don't
don't
want to
know.
compare. Yeah, uncertainty. Exactly. Uncertainty generates stress for sure.
Mhm.
This is the reason why everybody is stressed out today, because we
Mhm.
live in a lot of uncertainty, and whether you live in a welfare state where everybody is pretty much well fed and everything, there's no direct risk of, I don't know, being hungry or homeless, but at the same time you're afraid, if will I actually sustain my level of consumption,
Mhm.
will I actually be able to afford another TV or whatever,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, and it also the stress is real. The stress is real, I guess.
Yeah.
Will I be able to pay the payments, for my credit for whatever, a new Tesla,
Mhm.
So it generates the stress that is equal to the stress of, I don't know, of the people
The
living
body, I
in
think the
much.
body experiences it the same. Doesn't matter if you're thinking about your Tesla or
Yeah,
your
which totally sucks.
life,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well, that's why we
Sense.
want to, I think, migrate to this digital format and become whatever, some avatars, right, in a metaverse
Mm.
where I'm pretty safe, living in my tank, I mean,
You can die of a heart
it's like
attack
Matrix,
because you're, not moving.
yeah, right, but but anyway, that would be the ultimate sorry, the ultimate protection from stress, I guess. Or stress would only be some kind of a software, that you have some chills, some, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
excitement. Actually, I think that in the world of the metaverse, although I don't know the foundations of it, but I think there's excitement. Just to feel excitement, you may be more or less excited, but not really stressed out, because stress is bad.
When you play a video game.
When you play a video game, there's excitement. I'll tell you what. Not really, because when you're excited, you want to go and pee. So it's like an excitement. Sorry, that's what's happening. You need to also pause the game, and I need to go to the toilet. This is excitement, I guess. That's that's somehow there's this physiological reaction that I observe my son. When he's watching or playing games like Minecraft and so on. Sometimes he normally he refuses to go to the toilet. It's like go to the toilet. Go take a leak. It's good. Because he's always like prolonging this. And then when he starts when he starts playing a game, it's like, oops, I have to pause and I go to the toilet. Works like all right, great. So you asked me about the difference between stress and fear, and was I able to answer that? Well, not really. I mean, it's very hard to separate. First, you would have to find like pure stress and pure fear, which is only fear, nothing else. I'm wondering if animals are also stressed. Yeah, they are stressed out. Sure, they may be stressed out. No doubt about it. It's not only that they feel the fear. Stress is also like very basic stuff. It was only invented. I remember now some memes. That the concept of stress was invented in whatever 1925, whatever. And before that day, before that year, everybody, there was no stress. Everybody was chilling. Yeah, there's another meme, with like oxygen was discovered in whatever year again, 18 blah blah, and before 18 blah blah, before the oxygen was discovered, everybody was like suffocating. All right, great. I don't know. I guess you deserve you deserve some applause, And then I guess our listeners deserve some applause again.
Right. Oh yeah.
Fine. Great. Do you think people know that we are teachers or just clowns?
Oh, you mean a person who is not a student suddenly discovered our podcast?
Yeah. They discovered they managed to last till now. Do you think they know we are actually teachers who have their website and who's who are quite innovative?
No, I think we should tell them.
You should tell them. So guys, we have a website. It's of course in the description, but it's www.studiomentals.com. I was actually thinking about developing this website. Now when there's a lot of commotion around Twitter, that it may collapse any day, anytime soon. And I was thinking that, oh my God, if Twitter collapses, then how will I actually reach the people, and so I should maybe develop the website into some sort of, I don't know, blog or even I was thinking about a section called input, where we could, of course, advertise this podcast like, the first most important source of language ever. But we could also add some other, recommendations, except I don't really know what else to recommend.
Let's ask our listeners. Maybe they will.
Yeah, I already have some recommendations. It's true. That's always a good idea. Do you listen to anything like a podcast that you could recommend? Come on, give us the name.
I listened to this Ezra Klein podcast.
Ezra Klein. What
New York
is this
Times.
about?
Well, it's not about anything. Every time he has a different guest, could be a writer, politician, or whoever.
So it's something like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah, something like that.
All right. And what's so special about Ezra is,
I don't think I have been choosing between, and chose him. I think I listened. It was early days of war, and I came across this interview with Timothy Snyder. Yeah, and he was on his podcast, and this is how I discovered it, and I just kept listening because they, interesting people, and they speak a lot about Ukraine. So
great. I'm
that's
going
it.
to mention Ezra Klein in our description, and maybe we get an invitation to the show.
Yeah. Okay.
Great. One day. Great. Guys, thanks a lot. It's been a pleasure knowing that you are here listening to our, like I said, semi-private conversation. And Masha, thanks a lot. It doesn't feel like recording a podcast. It feels like connecting and talking.
Great.
So what would you say?
Uh-huh.
What would you say to our dear listeners before saying bye?
I would say this was yet another episode of the Thinking Out Loud podcast. Stay tuned for the next one. You spoiled it. Goodbye.
Sorry.
Bye-bye.